What's going on, guys? It's your boy, Big Blue Drew 97 here to talk to you about Nanatsu no Taizai, manga chapter 333, titled Pride, Gluttony, and Scars. If I may say, that's a pretty accurate statement of what goes on in this chapter. So with that title out the way, let's get into it, where we start with the main cover page of the Sids basically saying goodbye to Gilda the Vampire Queen, or apparently she was the king, so Vampire King, I guess. I've been saying it wrong the entire time. As well as Zeldris. They're leaving, presumably going back to the demon world, where he will rule as king and make it a peaceful place. So yes, very happy end for those two. The Sins are very happy that they're sad that they're leaving, but they're very happy that they get to be together, and everything turns out fine. Everything is okay until it is not, because we immediately, as it's like, bye, it was nice seeing you, we see Elizabeth just like, oh no. And then we even see Bond and Gother like put on like somewhat of a perception of like, yeah, something's about to go down. And then the next words that we hear is basically Escanor saying, yeah, we should probably do the same. Everyone is waiting for us. And like, Diane McTubb is like, we all? And like, King even comes and is like, so yeah, we're all going back together. Having a tear running down his eye, as well as also Diane like having like a shocked face, which, when I am noticing where King is right now, I really hate King right now. Why? He's in the bosoms of Diane, nestled between two mountain cliffs. But going back to the main point of the story, everyone comes to the conclusion that, yeah, Escanor is dying. And even Escanor makes like a valid point. He's like, yeah, I can't even move my body anymore, which is sad, but it shows how much of a bad ass. Yes, I'm saying ass. I don't know if I should be cursing. Fine, ass. He is a badass because he is standing up, basically on fire, and is saying, yeah, I can't move, but I'm standing up while doing it. But he also says, yeah, this is the end for me. And like, everyone is like just so sad. And it's like, even like, and then we get into Escanor's like basically final words, his like last hurrah speech, where he's basically saying, yeah, I don't regret anything in my life. I'm just thankful for like all of y'all to getting to know me. And then he starts saying, giving like the descriptions like, Gother, you were the best confidant I ever had. King Diane, I'm so sorry that I won't be able to be at your wedding, but I wish you happiness. Elizabeth, give my regards to the king and his majesty, as well as Emperor Mael. Thank you for everything that you've done in the end. Bond, cut out the drinking, why don't ya? And then my true friend, thanks for seeing me as equals. He gives like a description for everyone that just shows how much he knows each and every one of them, and like how much he actually cared for them, because he gave something like extremely specific for them, which kind of reflects the character. But then we get to Merlin. He goes to everyone else, and then he talks to Merlin, and with Merlin, he says, Merlin, the one that I love. And he talks about like, I loved you, not because you reminded me of Rosa, but because like, because you really looked at me and spoke to me without prejudice, without discrimination. You looked at me as a person, and that's why I fell in love with you. Why I fell in love with you. And Merlin is just like trying to like play it cool, trying to play it off. And it's like, I saw you, I liked you, like not like liked you, but like I just found you fascinating, and I wanted to use you as a subject for me, you know? It has nothing to do with any type of like emotional attachments. And then Escanor is like, no, that's fine, I'm happy. Like he would have been happy just being a subject, as long as like he could be like somewhere within our heart. Even if in her heart he was just a test subject, that's all Escanor really wanted. And at this moment, we start seeing Merlin crack a little, because her hand begins to shake and she grabs onto herself. And then Escanor starts talking more. Even Merlin starts talking about like things like, it was too late. I wish things could have be taken back to that time 3,000 years ago. If only you had found me sooner, 3,000 years ago. And what is interesting is that we see Elizabeth and Meliodas basically questioning what Merlin is talking about, and like they're like, and basically it's like, whoa, you're going into that, really, Merlin? Like it gives off the words like she's going into something that she has never really told anyone, and the only reason why they know about it is because they're just that old. So she starts talking about this. I wish I had met you like thousands years earlier, and then even Escanor's like, well, it doesn't matter like what you could have done. I would have always been by your side. No matter what decisions you made, no matter what crimes you committed, what sins you bear. And I thought that was a callback to her sin, which is like, I thought her sin is gluttony, but I thought the symbol was a bear. No, the bear is actually king, if I remember correctly. Hers is the boar. But this is something that like takes Merlin off guard. For someone who's like extremely stoic, calm, and collected, this really takes her off guard, because it's something that I just really didn't know until now. We still don't know what Merlin's sin is. Now, we know the sins of all of the others. Meliodas didn't protect that city. Everyone died. We know Gotha, who was accused of murdering his loved one, the woman that he loved. We have King, who like turned a blind eye to his best friends killing humans. Diane, who was accused of wiping out an entire like army and poisoning and all of that. As well as Bond, who was like accused of like just destroying the entire Fairy King forest, and obviously with Escanor and how he like was accused of like just straight up like killing and terrorizing and Sun King and all that. We get all of their background, but we do not get Merlin's. So what this implies is that Escanor knew what Merlin did. Now, how horrible of it was, we don't know. But he's basically saying like, yeah, no matter what you did, I would have followed you anyway. Even if it was like the worst thing, you could have committed genocide. Is what I like to imagine that Escanor is going with this. It's like, you could have committed genocide, which for me, I thought that's what the sin was, when like she basically tricked both the god and the demon king, the goddess and the demon king, to give them the power and like wiped out the entire city. I thought that's what her sin was, but apparently that's not it. So like, it could have been something worse than genocide, and that's a weird thing for me to be happy about, but it's like, it shows like his determination for that he will follow her to Earth even if it costs like thousands of people's lives. And because he's saying this, Merlin just comes to the conclusion like, wait, did you know? And he's like, it was just a gut feeling, and I could just always see the sadness in your eyes. So it's like, all of this emotion is coming towards Merlin, who is normally stoic, but also during this time, Escanor is actually dying, and Diane makes comments like, oh my gosh! He's basically turning to ash. Like, he has burnt his body, his soul, so bright that it's beginning to like just deteriorate his body, like turning his body to ash. So he's like, well, everyone, take care! Body bursts into flames, like flames just go around him. The entire area is just like a blinding white light, which is, I'll say this, when it comes to this panel of him just bursting into flames, it's very like aesthetically like important, because it shows like there are obviously shadows like around, but what it is implying is that the light is so bright that this white page isn't just the white background, but the white light itself just emanating off of Escanor as his body turns to ash. But yeah, it's a very beautiful scene, and like Merlin, everyone is like, we'll see you off, and Diane's like, I hate saying goodbyes, and Escanor is smiling, and he says farewell to Merlin. But then we see Merlin start walking up, and a comment that I saw when reading this was that this is like when, and I hate to say this, because this is like a very impactful moment, and while in the moment I felt very emotional, but afterwards I see this and I can unsee it. This next scene where Merlin is walking towards Escanor is somewhat like somewhat of a similar scene to when Jotaro is walking towards Dio in like a similar pose. But like, that's just, could be just, is that a JoJo's reference? Possibly, yeah, I don't know. But all in all, it's like, it accumulates in like this big impactful kiss where everyone is just like befuddled and just looks at this kiss and they're just like, are astonished by it. But it's not because Merlin kissed Escanor, which is probably like the main thing, but she's like, she kisses him while being burned, because we literally see her kiss him, holding him by like this, just kissing him. But then we see the flame still erupting, the heat erupting from his body, burning her hand, burning her lips. She takes it, and then she like backs back, and she's like, and she says, I was never able to reciprocate my feelings to you, but as proof that you existed, these burns will be that proof that you existed, as a symbol of the only man who has ever loved me. So yeah, she is permanently burned, hopefully. And then we see Escanor crying about this, and he gives his last like speech where he wishes that he could have been, that basically compares Merlin to the finest of wine, and how he wished that he could have been the cup to hold that wine, and that maybe he could become that wine. But he just gives his one wish that someone will be able to be the glass to hold that wine. Basically, he wishes Merlin happiness, and that someone loves her to appear. Even if he's the one that loves her, he wishes that she would have love, whether it was with him or with someone else, which just shows his love and determination and passion for Merlin. And as he says this, you see his hand just break apart more and more until his body basically just turns to ash and just gets swept up into the air in the breeze, as everyone is, for the most part, crying or just sad about Escanor's death, as Meliodas says, "Sleep well, Escanor," and the chapter ends. I thought last chapter was a 5 out of 5 chapter. This is a 5 out of 5 chapter, because this is just the accumulation of all of the hardship, all of the pain that Escanor has dealt with. Not even just Escanor, the Sims have dealt with. Like, literally going up against the Demon King himself, basically going up against the god and winning, and saying that they're all gonna go home, even though they knew that one of them wasn't gonna go home. Even Escanor knew that this was going to be his final fight, and technically he won. He is and was the greatest warrior of the 7 deadly sins. He was probably the strongest, or either, if not like emotionally, physically the strongest. Has defeated Meliodas on multiple occasions. Heck, even defeated Zeldris before. Almost defeated the Demon King as well. And just having him just accumulate, being burned up, not just by the sun power, but like by his passion and his love towards Merlin, which basically ties all the sins together, just love and friendship, and actually seeing one of the sins die, which is basically the idea of the sins are disbanded, because they can never truly be the 7 deadly sins because one of them has died. Now, someone could come and replace Escanor. I'm not sure who that could be. Maybe Arthur is still alive. Maybe he's the one that's gonna love Merlin. There's a lot of speculation that you can make about this. But all in all, I think this might have been the perfect end for Escanor. Like, he basically died the way he lived, with a burning passion and desire to protect his friends, and even got a kiss from the woman that he loved. And basically, the only regret in his life was that he was unable to be that cup to hold that wine, be the person that Merlin would love, but he still wishes her happiness and joy because he loved her. And I think that was just perfect bookend to Escanor's story. If he were to come back, this would immediately diminish like the impact of this chapter. But I highly doubt that that is something that in 7 deadly sins that really happens, because normally if someone is like dead, like straight up dead, like even some of like the least well-known characters just straight up dead, technically all the commandments, even whether or not you love them or not, are technically dead. Like, if you die, unless you have like a power that can bring you back, like Elizabeth, Meliodas, like Bond when he was immortal, when you die, you die. And I think he's not coming back. Now, he comes back in a different form. I don't know how I feel, but someone else could take on the Lion's Sin, because it's just a title. Or it could be that the 7 deadly sins, the sins are still together and they're called the sins, but they could never, but the 7 deadly sins are permanently disbanded. They may be the 6 deadly sins, but they can never truly be the 7 because no one can truly replace Escanor, and that may be the idea that they go with. But all in all, very strong chapter, beautiful chapter. The entire chapter is just a beautiful moment of the 7 deadly sins, and I really enjoyed it, and it shows that this series is really coming to an end, and I'm glad that at the very least I was able to cover it during this time and like have the motivation to put my thoughts out there into a reviewing format. So hopefully you enjoyed this video, and hopefully I can catch you at the next chapter of the 7 Deadly Sins, and hopefully it can be just as good as this one. Goodbye for now. Woo!